Welcome to Livzenastrology. My name is Ella Ivy. I am using a new technology right now to stream on multiple sources, so we'll see how this goes. I've been playing with technology. We are in Gemini season right now. We are sharing our truth. We are sharing our messages, our voices. And so this has been an interesting dance in just being able to speak on astrology. There's a lot happening right now in the collective to speak about. There's a lot of conversations that are being had. And so I'm just doing this 30-day exploration on the channel to talk about some of the energies, to talk about some of the frequencies that are happening right now. I'm looking at this thing, is kind of distracting. I'm like watching this. Look, it's like double vision. Whoa, this is trippy. I don't even know if I need that. I think that's more distracting than anything. Yeah, we'll just keep going with that. Anyhow, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for playing. And I'm going to screen share some astrology because the moon just transited or ingressed into Leo today. It is going to be conjuncting Mars and it's going to be trining Aries. So what does all this mean, right? So, we break it down to simple definitions when we're talking astrology. And I also have a free PDF book that I'd like to send you guys out if you're looking to explore astrology. Hi, Tanner. My dog Tanner just ate breakfast and he's now joining me for the conversation. He always likes to ground here with me. Anyway, yeah, if you want that PDF, just reach out to me, livzenastrology@gmail. I'd love to send that to you. It's free to you. And again, this is the conversation because as you know, astrology has its own language. And when you can speak the language and you can really get into the frequency of it, right? Which now I'm looking to, I'm not going to worry about that. It takes you in a whole nother realm, right? It allows you to see things in a whole new periphery if you know how to speak the language, because the language is a program, right? How we speak is literally projecting our reality in real time. If you're following this channel, Lives in Astrology, we do come from the maxim that all is self. So we are projectors. We are generating this reality timeline based on what we're thinking about, based on how we're speaking, based on the words we use. So this is all part of the dance of consciousness of where we are in right now. Excuse me, this is practicing also radical oneness. And so if you think along these lines, Gemini, and want to speak about these matters possibly in a new way, the higher octave way, which the higher octave of Mercury would be Aquarius. And we know right now that Aquarius is in Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of transformation, right? Death, regeneration, where things go to die to be reborn, because this thing doesn't end. That's the whole sort of cosmic joke that I discovered years ago doing plant medicine, is that we are all one. We're all connected. It's all you. It's all me. And that, death is not what we think. Death is just a transition, right? The caterpillar thinks it's dying, but it's really transforming and metamorphosizing into a whole nother being. And I think and I feel and I know, speaking the language of astrology, that's what astrology is showing me right now. That time is not linear, that we are spiritual, we are spiritual beings. Spiritual meaning we live in a Fibonacci spiral. And I have to really give a shout out to Dr. Be Serious for that language that he gave me and really took me on a really cosmic journey. If you ever checked out Black Magic 363, you could check him out. He's got some really awesome content. And that's where I discovered Dr. Be Serious. And he's just a great wisdom teacher and a great human being from what I can see. And he shares a lot, right? He shares a lot of knowledge. And again, I like the words. Anybody that's got good words, I love good words. I've got that South Node in Gemini and Italy in the 7th house. So anybody that activates me with good words, something that makes me think a new way, not only about what I'm seeing out in the reality, but myself and my family and my friends, that really ignites me. And so I want to be able to give that to you guys, right? To be able to ignite you and inspire you as I inspire myself to use the language in a new way, in a higher octave way, right? The Aquarian way, from taking it from Mercury, which is just data assimilation and information. But then how do we apply it to higher wisdom, which is Aquarius, right? Which is ruled by Uranus. And then how can we see it in almost like an aha new periphery? because Aquarius likes to bring flashes of unexpected insight into your field to help you have a different experience, to show you something about yourself, about your reality, about others, about what you're seeing. This is such an interesting dance in consciousness as we are exploring these realms. And so I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and I hope this works. Take a sip here. I made a special tea blend today. I didn't feel like coffee medicine today because it just is interesting with the moon in Leo today. My body, I woke up already kind of hot, and I'm living in Kentucky, and we've had a lot of rain the last couple of days. The moon's been in Cancer, water sign. And so now the weather's starting to warm up and the sun's coming out because the moon's in Leo, which is rules the sun, right? So it's so funny when you start watching the weather patterns and correspond it to the astrology. It's really interesting and really unique. And so I'm going to screen share the astrology for today. See if we could get this going. I had to put this on Google Slides rather than in my own program. Because again, I'm using this new, it's called restream.io. And it's free because I need to use free stuff right now until I can get more abundance for these things, or I choose to use abundance because, I'm exploring different media channels, different ways to connect to the information, right? And so I'm looking to see, I could do a slideshow. This can blow up the screen a little bit. So you can see the energy right now. This is the transit of May 31st, 2025. Greenwich Village. It's probably Greenwich, but I call it Greenwich just because I like to play with language. Anyway, we can see that the moon has ingressed to Leo today. And Leo is about to, in its transiting system, as it's moving along the cosmic energy, it's going to be conjunct Mars, which is our action planet. And it's in the house of Leo, which is the 5th house. I actually put Aries at the ascendant point just to kind of keep things fluid if you're studying astrology. Not all charts are going to look like this, but I can make the chart look this. I use Astral Gold is my program that I work with. And so what wanted to come through today, again, right now we're in Gemini season. We have a stellium, which is where 3 or more planets are in one sign. And we have a stellium right now happening in Gemini. So we have a Gemini party, if you will, going on. There's a Gemini flow and frequency. So Gemini likes to talk, study, look at things, assimilate data. And how is it working with the energy of the moon, which is our emotional nature, right? So there's actually a sextile happening that's 60 degrees. Every house is 30 degrees. So if you want to calculate just really quickly, use Cancer, that's 30 degrees, Leo, that's 60 degrees. That's called the sextile. And we can see that even right now, the sun is almost exact sextiling the moon, which means that there's an opportunity for what? To feel good about your creations, because Leo is all about creativity. It's the heart of the child. It likes to play, 5th house. It's romance, it's speculation, it's gambling, it's amusement parks, it's things that are fun. And so Gemini wants to have fun with the language, right? Wants to have fun with the words, wants to have fun with the actions we take. Today is a Saturnalian day. If you're following this day, May 31st, it's a Saturday. I believe it's a Saturday. Yep, Saturday, which, if you look at the word Saturday, it's Saturn, which is considered Saturnalian. Again, the days of the week are also ruled by these planetary systems if you start really following the language. So look at Saturn is our boundaries. It's our taskmaster. It's our structure. But within the day of this sextile, it's, again, I think a purposeful play. Go out and structure your play in a way that's going to really feed you, give you something to talk about. Also, it rules neighbors. Gemini rules neighbors, 3rd house matters, siblings. It rules everyday travel, how you travel to and fro places. You might want to go traveling. I'm thinking even going like hiking, because I'm here in again, Kentucky, and we don't have a lot of nice days here, right? I used to live in Florida and Texas where I was so used to the sun. And now I'm in Kentucky where I'm lucky if I get sun every, 3 days or 4 days. And so it's been really learning to appreciate the solar energy. And we know that the Leo rules the sun, right? So the sun and the moon, right now we have this emotional need to go out and play, to be in the solar codes, right? I'm thinking like to go swim, to go swing on a tree, to go be out in nature. And it's also trining, meaning it's 120 degrees away from all this Aries stellium we have right now, which, Saturnalian day, Saturn's in Aries right now. So it is a time for play. It's a time for feeding and nourishing yourself. Aries, first house matters. Taking care of yourself, taking action. Mars likes to move and to generate energy and current because it's an action planet. So this is also a time where you can maybe go for a good workout, right? Allow yourself to sweat because the sun is, there's a lot of detoxing with sweating. And we're still in the south node with Virgo, which is remembering how to take care of the body, remembering that the body houses our spirit. And so, to really be embodied means to be more connected to your spiritual nature. This is also the north node, south node, the nodal axis points. We've come to learn Pisces, which is more being in our spiritual practices, but that requires movement. Getting out of stagnation so that we can have a better experience of this reality. So again, while the moon's ingressing into Leo, trining all the stellium here with Aries, Saturn, Neptune, our spiritual planet, Ceres, which is an asteroid, which is about food and cereal. I think of Ceres, right? The grain, the harvest. Venus, our love and money, values, how we value ourselves, how we see ourselves, present ourselves. Chiron, the wounds of the child, right? So anywhere that you had a lot of responsibility, and this might be a Saturn return for some of you that had Saturn in Aries when you were born. And this means that you're probably at the age 55, depending on the wheels, because again, Saturn returns come about. So if you want, you're there 29 degrees if you were born with Saturn in Aries. So you might be at that age, right? 28, 29, 30-ish, that time period. Or this might be your second Saturn return. So you're at the 55 age mark. All right. So this might be returning to your inner childlike state. I have a friend of mine who I know who has natally his Saturn in Aries, and he's taken up bike riding again recently, right? Because he's just like the heart of the child. He remembers how fun bike riding was. And so, or is, I should say. And so with this configuration, oh, look, I can play with this. Let me see if I can, this is up here. Oh, this is fine. So with this configuration right now, this is taking time for the heart of the child to go play. Saturn is like, look, there's wisdom in nature. There's wisdom that you can gather when you're moving your body in a playful way, expressing yourself. This is also Leo. Your creativity. So how you express yourself is really being looked at right now while we are in these configurations. Well, again, the moon denotes our emotions, and our emotions change pretty quickly. The, the the moon carries a sign for 2.5 days. So in other words, it was in Cancer for 2.5 days, then it moved quite a bit. And now it's in Leo, and then it's going to be moving in 2.5 days into Virgo. So it's got a pretty quick transit. So that's why sometimes we feel like our emotional nature is like, I felt so good a couple of days ago. Why do I feel like shit today? Well, you want to look to see where your moon is transiting, right? Because your moon denotes your emotional nature, which is why sometimes we can feel so in flux. So getting a handle, again, astrology has helped me get a handle. I've got a lot of water in my chart, right? So I got a lot of emotions. I feel like, oh, what's going on with the tides? Well, studying astrology has given me some structure and some understanding as to, knowing that the moon is transiting. So of course my emotional nature is going to be shifting gears. I don't have to consider myself crazy or out of balance or out of whack. It's just the moon tides are shifting me in a different direction. So then I go to look to see where the moon is. Oh, Leo. Well, I got to be playful today, right? It also rules the heart and the body. So, spending time with people you love, that you really care about, you want to have fun with, go out and call a friend and hang out with community members that you really, really, really are inspired by, that you guys can co-create together, that you can maybe go out and do a spiritual practice, like do some qigong or whatever, go to yoga and then go have lunch. And then, like dinner and a show, right? And Chiron, there's a lot of healing with this, learning to value yourself, to value your time, Saturn, how you spend your time. This is also Venus. These are all languages that are associated with these planets. So again, just putting the pieces of the puzzle together in a very interesting, coherent way with astrology, using the language of astrology. And since I'm being in a very playful mood, I love to pull cards and I love to work with divination decks. And today, the divination decks that wanted to come through, I've been working with Love Your Body by Louise Hay, because this is also very South Node in Virgo, remembering that our body houses our energies at all times. And so there may be times where there might be a certain part of your body that's asking for extra support. So I'm intending to pull a card to see anybody that's watching this right now. If you are drawn to this, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for connecting to this channel. And again, I'm using new technology. I'm using restream.io just to see, because honestly, I was using StreamYard before, but it's a little too expensive for me right now. So I'm just looking to see the different media outlets and plus do things different. I've already kind of done that technology, and it's okay. It didn't really ignite me greatly. And I'm, again, still playing with this, this technology. So we'll see how it goes. But right now, which part of the body could use some support during this transit as we have this beautiful moon in Leo? And what part of our body is really talking to us a couple different things came out, but the one that I love my hips. So this is the card here. I love my hips. And the mantra, I carry myself through life in perfect balance. My hips are powerful as I move forward, as I move towards new goals. So hips also, too, astrologically is ruled by Sagittarius. And we know Sagittarius is opposite of Gemini right now because it's you look at the opposition energy. And so Sagittarius, this is also, too, for women that are getting into their bodies and realizing we carry a lot of trauma, and how we move forward in life is stored in our hips areas. So this is also a time to just really, get into the hips. I'm thinking of like pigeon poses and yoga, climbing trees. We do these practices so that we can be more playful and more embodied in our bodies. So you might be directed to really just work with your hips, maybe doing some dancing, right? Dancing is a fun way to exercise. And so this might be something that you want to consider as you're playing. I'm going to play with this here. I'm going to look at the different designs here, ways to look at the chart. Okay, maybe we could do this. Fun. All right. Again, using new technology. So that's the part of the body that wants to be worked with today if you are following this channel. And also there's, I'm going to be pulling a card from, because this is, again, playing. This is playful for me, from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck. And again, because it follows the gnosis of, I have discovered in my own just consideration of these planets, that when I work with plant medicine or, even herbs, I'm drinking herbal tea right now. I'm using ashwagandha, which is a root, with some green tea. And I've also got an herbal tea that was for heart with some holy basil and some rose petals. So I just kind of alchemized it and mixed it all together. And so when I'm looking at that, I'm like, what part of the body, what part of the planetary system is calling for me to have these experiences to merge with today? And so I'm going to pull a card for anybody that's here, that as we are transiting, moving through this beautiful sextile energy with Gemini and the moon and Leo, trining Aries, igniting our playful nature, what herb could support us as we are learning to be in our bodies and to feel good and to be more playful. And so the energy, okay, so this, can't make this up, guys. The energy is horsetail, number 35, and the word is patience. Horsetail, and you can even see the imagery, the horse, right? We just talked about, so in the hips is Sagittarius. It's what's ruled by Sagittarius. So of course there's the horse there, maybe taking a break. It's being in nature. There's the 5-pointed star of Venus, which also we know Venus is in Aries right now. So we can take, see where that energy, that's also trining Sagittarius, means there's a harmonious aspect happening. And I can also see, too, the two planets that are involved are Saturn and Venus. And there it is right there. Saturn and Venus are both in Aries, right? So this is asking us to step into, there's a harmonious floor when you go out in nature, when you play, when you sit with the elementals, slowing down. I'm thinking of the word patience is like, the play on words, because I like to play with words. I'm thinking of like when you go into a hospital and you're sick, right? You become a patient, right? So this is very healing, being out in nature, learning to play, learning to use your time, spending your time in nature, spending your time with people you love, that you value, doing things that you love and value. If there's any kind of imbalance going on within the body and the hips, the lower nether region, the parts of us that like to move and play. And if you're having any issues with that, this might be an herb you can work with. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a herbologist. I'm just an energy reader who is tuning into the frequencies. And then, of course, I'm just pulling cards and looking at the correspondence. And you can see that it's always perfect, right? That things will correspond and come into your field. Everything that we need, we have. It's just remembering it. And so, and what else am I looking at here? Yeah, this right too. Also, if you look up close, that's a pineal gland that looks like a pine cone up there. So there could also be very activating. Aries rules the head. You could also be getting some deeply psychic downloads today with Gemini season. That's right, Gemini's information. So going out in nature and setting the intention to allow yourself to receive the magic and the codes and the playfulness that nature wants to bring, you can see that will activate your pineal gland. That will help ignite and let you see things in a whole brand new way. We're in this activation portal right now, especially with the energy still trining Pluto. And Pluto right now is our transformer planet, and it's in Aquarius, and it had been trining all this Leo, this Gemini energy. And so it's like aha information, and it's retrograde. So you might maybe I'm thinking too, projects that maybe had been put, things that you were really that was really fun for you, but maybe were put on hold, or you maybe asked to put some projects on hold because again, the patience card came through. So you're just asking really to slow down because we're moving up in consciousness. Things are speeding along. We're going at warp speed, which is great. I'm thinking of Star Trek, right? And how they went into warp speed when they wanted to go to another dimension. But they were also in a safe container in their ship that allowed them to go at warp speed, but not warp in the body, right? Because sometimes when you go too fast in the body, you can warp your body, and that's not good for the body. So you want to make sure your ship or your vessel is on point as you're traversing these lightning speed, going into another dimensions of thinking, of realities of being. And the counterbalance of that, again, because we live in this really paradoxical universe of this, black and white, and then they're opposite, but they live together, right? So it's paradoxical energy. What is isn't at the same time. Again, we're talking quantum energy, quantum fields. So the juxtaposition of speeding forward and moving ahead and going faster cosmologically means we have to slow down and have more patience and have more presence in our body so that we can really feel and assimilate these energies within us in a very beautiful, harmonious, playful way that we're not going to warp our systems, right? Which could throw us out of balance. And then the next card that I'm going to pull from this deck is the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And I've got tons of other cards that I work with, guys, but these are the cards that have really been working with me. And I love the beginning of this. It says, "We are all sacred dreamers dreaming the world into being," which is very shamanistic. I don't call myself a shaman because that takes a lot of work, and and I would never disrespect because I'm not. But I will say that I follow the shamanistic path, if you will. I follow nature. I pay attention when nature spirits are, active around me. I see what animals are around me. Again, what herbs. Going out in nature really shows a lot about what the nature of me and what's happening. If I'm a projector, then it's just projecting me back onto me, what I need to know. And so I'm just learning to have a conversation with myself through nature in a very cool way. Okay, this came through. I was going to study, but as I'm saying that, it just came right through. So I'm just going to pick it because it caught my attention. So this is the perfect storm, 44, the courage to step into life. So this is the crow you can see here, and you can see again lightning, which is all very Uranian. This is very Aquarius. This is also in shamanistic astrology. If you follow the nature animals, the crow is the messenger, which right now we know we've got all this Gemini. So again, there's messages to be seen. There's like lightning bolt flashes of data, information, knowledge, wisdom coming through but you got to stabilize. 44 is 8. There's an infinity, an infinite field of energy that we are tapping into, but you got to be grounded with it. Again, using the eye, being very clear what you're looking at, maybe perceiving things in a new way. Again, this is the messenger. I've been thinking of Edgar Allan Poe, right? And the Raven. Anyway, that came through. There might be some codes for you. Go back to the to the poet and to that particular poem. There might be somebody, whoever's watching this might not be for everybody, but it just came in. Edgar Allan Poe and the Raven. There might be some messages for you. Anyway, so the perfect storm, courage to step into life. Courage. This is all Aries. To step into, right? To move. We call it transiting. To move is to transit, to step into life, to step into your life, first house. This is by following your bliss, following your joy. Again, structured play, making time for your creative energy to come through, and do it with friends, do it with siblings that you love. Igniting that playful nature, because again, you're giving yourself codes, and going out in nature, there's messages, there's divine insights that want to come through, that I'm seeing that Mama Gaia and nature want to show us. If we just learn to pay attention, maybe get out, again, balancing that social media, the electrical fields around us, which rules, Aquarius rules the electromagnetic field, and Gemini rules the nervous system. And so this is also too for those of you that have been in fear, and have been, finding out possibly things that you've never found out before, and is creating imbalance in your nervous system. You can't really assimilate. I even see nourishment, or psychic codes or data, if your nervous system is in fight or flight, right? So this is also a time to go in and really regulate your nervous system. Tapping. I do a lot of tapping. I do a lot of grounding. Take my shoes off after this transmission. I always do these. I always go and take my shoes off, and I go right outside. I touch the plants. I breathe. I've even got glasses of water under a tree, and blue bottles out there that I'll drink from after these transmissions, right? Because it all matters. And, I'm charging the field. I understand the power of cymatics and the vibration that the earth emits at, and how she's vibrating my water. And then when I take the water, I take my tea or whatever, and I just, hold it to my third eye. I thank it. Again, using cymatics. Sometimes I tone to it, right? Because I know the cymatic, if you ever looked at water, and you've got, there was one reel I saw where somebody put a speaker in his pond and was showing the cymatical energy coming off when he turned the music on, right? So we have voice boxes, we have cymatical creative energy voice boxes in our throat. This is also what's Gemini, right? Learning to collectively speak our truth. And it might be something that you're not used to doing. So it might create fight or flight. I know for me, I had to sleep in a little bit extra today, because I did an energy transmission yesterday. I was really vulnerable about my experience in the spiritual community, and just my life. And so I sometimes wake up with what I call an energy hangover. It's like when I share too much data, or I share information that's very vulnerable to me. And then it's really good at the time, right? But then the next day I wake up and I have this like, oh my God, what did I just say? What did I, it's like almost like a hangover energy, right? Because I just transmitted a lot of energy. So that sometimes feels depleting in my body, because I'm not used to channeling so much current of truth, of energy, of authenticity. And when it comes through in packets, it almost can wipe you out, or it has to me anyhow. So again, I'm just learning to as I'm speaking my truth more and more and more, firstly to myself, as I'm learning to be honest with myself, Aries first house, and tell the truth about what's really going on with me, with what I need to learn, Saturn, Neptune, the spiritual nature of me and communities, right? Telling the truth about my own experience in the spiritual communities. This is part of why I was hungover today, going, oh my gosh. But anyway, I'm letting that go. And then, of course, we've got Sarah's of the grain, how I'm nurturing myself and taking care of myself, what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, what I'm imbibing with, because that also creates chemical reactions in my body that will either create a better reaction or a worse reaction, right? Just depends on what I'm consuming with. This is Sarah's, right? Again, the grain, the harvest, making sure that I'm eating high vibrational foods. And then again, Venus, how I'm expressing my love, how I'm loving myself. This is first house, right? Am I giving myself grace? Am I giving myself just permission to value my words? It's okay to share your truth, right? Because this is very healing. This is Chiron. This is healing for you to be able to express yourself, even if it's uncomfortable. And even if your nervous system is like, no, I'm not safe, go out and ground, do your practices. This is again, North Node, do your spiritual practices so that you can feel more comfortable continuing to unfold and share your truth and having these incredible insights, these incredible downloads, right? The perfect storm, which also too, we have storms going on. We have electromagnetic frequencies, Schumann resonance, solar flares bombarding our planet that's actually pushing all these densities, these untruths, these ways of seeing, they're pushing it out of our system, right? We're getting these cosmic messages that are revealing to us how out of balance we've really been. And so with the storms happening on the planet, with the tornadoes and things that are shifting, if we are the body, if we are the earth, then we're starting to see how much we're being shaken up, right? The density we've been holding in our bodies is being shaken up right now. So go out in nature, play as much as you can, create. And another card I wanted to pull was for my little magical one word or one scented chakra deck that I carried with this bag that my mom gave me. I think it's just so cool. The ancestors, right? I think the Day of the Dead, and my birthday's around Halloween. And so it's just, anyway, I just love that it houses these energies. And so for anybody that's here that's listening, what message do you need to know? Also, to in correspondence to what we were talking about with Leo, with being playful, with having courage, with having structured play, with everything we've been talking about, what added words or energies can contribute to this? And so the first word I see here is blue. This is also completion. So again, we might be completing a cycle. You might be completing an old paradigm as you're starting to get more real and honest with yourself. Also, Saturn too, there's a new responsibility. There's new long-term things that are coming online for you. So you're having to complete old cycles. And in the blue throat chakra is also completing maybe old ways of the way you talked to yourself, that you shared yourself. That's what's coming through here. And then the next word, it's orange, which is the sacral, empower yourself. So again, this is also very Aries. The sacral is the orange. It's our creative life force energy. It's also, it's how we create. We create babies in our womb. We create projects, ideas, businesses, relationships, right? So it's really asking you right now to empower yourself, which I'm also seeing too. Could be Leo, even though Leo rules the sun. I'm just feeling this like, I saw the strength card in the tarot, right? Just to really take control of your base animal nature that maybe wants to just run free and and maybe just, and that's okay too to sometimes, but what I'm hearing now is just to really take control of your animal nature. So in other words, like when you're hungry and you just grab the first thing you see because you're hungry, the animal nature part of us is just like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat whatever. And this is saying to stop, maybe not just eat because you're hungry, but really be mindful what you're consuming with, right? Don't just allow your animal nature to just like that ravenous. Take the time, think about what you're eating, right? Empower yourself with what you're merging with the chemistry that surrounds you. Okay, then another word that comes through is warmth. So again, it's warm. It's getting warmer outside. I'm in the northern hemisphere of the United States in Kentucky, so the weather's getting warmer. Also, I'm seeing too, to allow yourself to feel warm, nurtured. It's green heart. So allow yourself to, even like putting your hands on your heart, right, and just allowing that warm part of you. Again, the sun's or the moon's in Leo right now, so and that also rules the heart. And so allowing yourself to really feeling the warmth of not only the sun, but the warmth of your community, right? The warmth of your words, the warmth of your ideas, what keeps you safe. Again, that I'm thinking of the nervous system. And okay, so here's another card that wants to come through is called surrender, right? Surrender to the energies that are around you. I like to put my hands above my head. I just surrender. Again, staying in flow, staying with the cosmic energies that are for you. Life is happening for you. This is also the crown. And so I'm even thinking too, going out in nature so you can get those codes and surrender to what you think you know so that you can make room for what really wants to come through right now. And what wants to be created through you right now. Again, Moon and Leo. And the last card that came through, again, blue is starting off with blue, ending up with blue was the mystery. So being able to live in the mystery. And when I look at mystery, I think of Scorpio. I think of things that are hidden. I think of 12th house. And so again, this is also North Node in Pisces, which rules the 12th house, which is what we've come to learn, right? So leaning into the mystery, leaning into the things that you don't know, new ideas, new concepts. Be willing to empty your cup of what you think you know about this reality to make room for mysterious, the unknown, right? The things that we can't see. I think of something like the breath, right? We know we have the breath, we can feel it. It's powerful. We need it to live, but we can't see it, right? So in that regard, the breath is deeply mysterious, just what came through. So just again, leaning into curiosity, especially while the moon is ingressing into Leo today and it's trining that stellium we have in Aries. It's sextiling this Gemini party that we've got going on, and it's taking action on things you really love. Again, being in the body in a new way, allowing yourself to feel good, regulating your nervous system, and staying in your spiritual practices as you go out in nature, you're in this playful state. Allow yourself to be in this meditative experience, because new ideas, new visions, new thoughts, new ways of seeing reality are coming through. So this is just the transmission that wanted to come through today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop share. Again, playing with the new technology here. If anybody's curious about this, again, the name of this technology, I believe, is, I forgot the name already. I'm not paying attention. But anyway, I can put that in the link below. I'm using the free version right now, and I'm able to do live on my YouTube and my TikTok. And if you pay, I think it's like, and there's a coupon code too, for those of you that are looking to, share your voice, share your language. And, I like to be efficient. So that's why I'm playing with this technology. It's like, rather than taking the time to edit and cross post to all these different medias, I'm like, let me just blast it out at the same time and just get it done. Because again, my time is valuable, right? I want to go play. And so I've set this structure up within myself that, I have my practices, I do my things, and then I can go and play and have my time to do what I want to do. But I set up these structures first. If I'm going to commit to you guys and commit to speaking and commit to myself of sharing what I really love, then I got to set up these structures for myself for the long term, right? Because I'm in it to win, and I'm here for the long term with you guys and for myself. So again, these are just the energies that wanted to come through today, May 31st, 2025. And we are a day 10 in this 30-day cosmic exploration of cosmic energies. So again, tune into the channel if you like any of this content. If you like anything that's being shared, please subscribe, and share. And it really helps the channel quite a bit, more than you know. It helps the algorithm. And then if you want, put in the notification bell too, because again, I'm going to be doing these things. I'm trying to do it at 1:11 every day. Gives me enough time to get up and do my practices. Because again, my sleep's been really weird. So sometimes I'm up till 4 or 5 in the morning, and so sleep's been interesting. But just anchoring myself in to 1:11 because I like those codes. So you can put on the notification bell if you're interested in any of this content. So thank you for playing, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, with another cosmic transmission on this 30-day conversation, cosmic exploration with Livzenastrology. Thank you so much for being here. So much love, guys.